welcome to Dream Catch Hustle with Nadirah and Fila.
I'm Nadirah.
And I'm Fila.
So today we're going to get started on the stigma of Black businesses and how to get over it.
That's a big one, a tough one.
Not being able to perform the job. Laziness.
Attitudiness. Customer service.
Taking on too much.
Yes.
But usually we try and take on a lot because we need the income, right? But we don't have the help to do it. We have the smarts to do it. We have brain power. We have the go-gettedness, the drive. We have all of that stuff to do it. However, we don't have the team to do it.
I agree. And what's something you said about like us having the ambition, right? We have the ambition, but sometimes our environment or our lifestyle calls for us to come from this like place of lack. Right. And so you step out there and you do it in a way that's unprepared, in a way that is not really conducive to doing good business because you don't have all your ducks in a row. And that really is a big one, I think, for a lot of Black business owners and entrepreneurs when they're first starting.
Well, see, I think with me, like I always mention, my aunt, she was very strict because she was from that corporate field, so I always had to write stuff down. And these are just some tips that we're trying to bring to you guys also, is to just try and have more structure.
Yes.
So write stuff
Structure
down.
is your friend.
Yes. Take notes. Do a to-do list.
Yeah.
If there's 5 steps to do your job, you write out like all 5 steps in order for you to do it, and you just try and stay or stick to your list.
I agree.
What do we do when we don't have enough funds to perform the job?
So, first of all, this is 2021, right? We're living in an age where you can bypass the gatekeepers. There's an app for that, like whatever it is that you want to do. You have sites like Fiverr and Freelancer. You have YouTube University. So I don't think that is an excuse that we can use now, but I do think that a large part of the problem comes from not even when we're starting, but when we want to grow or expand.
Right.
After you've gotten a few orders or clients or customers, sometimes we take on more than we can chew without like going step by step into those processes, and that creates logistic issues. Like, don't take 150 orders if you know you don't have 150 orders worth of inventory.
Exactly, because now you're not only putting the stigma on your business, but you're putting a stigma on all Black business. So let's say it's 150 cupcakes and you can't do it. Now it's not just, ABC Cupcake Inc. can't perform. Is, you know what, I think I'm gonna go over here to this particular race because ABC Cupcake can't perform.
Right. And one of the things that's really important for us to remember is that we haven't always been given access to the business space and the business sector. So we're coming from behind and we're doing really well. And I do have to say that personally, I do business with so many Black business owners and entrepreneurs, including yourself, and business is great, customer service is great, it all works well. But as a customer or a consumer who's supporting a Black business, we want to understand that everything may not be to the level of like those big corporate businesses, but as long as the owner is trying.
So that's something that we also have to deal with internally.
Yeah.
So it's like when we go into this restaurant and there's something wrong. So like, what do? Do we tell them that something's wrong or do we just ignore it?
So what do you do personally? Because I know you're very straightforward.
I am very straightforward. I think if the service is great and there is something wrong, I'll just ignore it. Maybe it's an off day. Maybe, especially as a business owner, like you said, everything's just not going to be perfect. But if service is a little off, then I do feel like, okay, so this is just you. This is the establishment. So at that point, I might say something. Okay. But for the most part, I think that I ignore it.
You ignore it.
But
like give passes, you give passes, and you'll come back, you'll support the business again?
Yes, I will.
Okay. I operate like that, but a little bit differently because I want to support you and I want to come back. And so I will say something. Like not out loud or in public, but I'll pull someone to the side. And that's a double-edged sword because sometimes people are like, don't tell me how to run my business. Right. So I always have to take a deep breath. But I do feel like if there's some insight that I can give that business owner, I have an obligation to do that, and to do it from a really humble, gentle place. Like, I understand everything's not perfect, and we definitely loved this part of the service, but there could be some improvements here because we want to come back. And we have to be open to receive that as business owners.
Right. But see, that's the thing too. So if it's not in my field, then I would feel more comfortable doing that. But if it was another real estate firm, I wouldn't feel comfortable, because I would feel as if they might feel, well, who do you think you are?
Right.
So I honestly don't think that I would do that for another real estate firm.
I get that in the same industry, because that feeling of competitiveness is there. So I definitely get that.
And sometimes I genuinely want to help, but
I'm not getting involved.
Yeah, I don't want that fight.
One of my 2021 models, and I've been saying it like all year, is that I'm not giving any unsolicited advice. Because in the past, I have, and then people are looking at you like totally unrelated story. But it's connected. I was in Walgreens one day, and there was a girl in there, and she was standing in front of me in line, and her track was showing completely in the back. So I'm having this whole internal conversation, like, do I tell her, do I not? I don't want anybody to make fun of her, try to play her. Right. So I gently tapped her on the shoulder, and I was like, your track is showing. When I say she looked like she wanted to fight me on the spot, I was like, oh, okay, I guess that wasn't the right idea. I'm trying to help. So to your point, you do have to be cautious about how you approach people.
Because everyone is not receptive.
No, they are not.
But those are things, though, I feel sometimes I have to deal with too. I think that we tend to look at where it's coming from.
Yes.
And sometimes we don't judge them as a person, but we judge what comes out their mouth. And I think that that's where the term hating comes from. And like, everyone just isn't hating.
No.
There are people who are genuinely trying to help you.
Yes.
And even though they may not be as successful as you, they still have great ideas.
Absolutely.
And even if they're more successful than you, they're not shunning you. They're trying to bring you up.
Right. And sometimes you're not ready to be on the level that you want to be on.
Yes.
A lot of times we want to come into the room and be given a seat at a table that we haven't prepared to sit at yet. And when people are like, not just yet, you have a few more things to work on, what we should do is listen and take it in. But a lot of times our egos get offended.
And it's more hurtful.
And then it's like, I'm not listening to her, I'm not dealing with her, I'm not rocking with her at all. And you end up blocking yourself from receiving like insight and wisdom from somebody who's an established professional.
Right, but not only when you do that though, and you're making it known and that's how you feel, it's almost like you're telling them, I don't even want to sit at that table anymore. And you start feeling shut out from groups of people, and it's something that you portray because you're not receptive of the information.
That's very true. And feedback is just that. It's just information. Like, you can take it or you cannot take it. So I want to ask you this, Nadirah. What is the one stigma of Black businesses that you have encountered in real life and that really upsets you, or that is your pet peeve?
Bad customer service. Bad customer service. And I work sometimes longer hours so that I don't give bad customer service to people. I try and do things timely, like within let's say a 9 to 7 time frame.
Okay.
I don't make business phone calls after 8 o'clock because I feel people are with their families, they're doing, personal life. So I try not to do that, so I don't like it when it's done to me. Not so much from my clients, but as far as me working with someone else.
Yes.
Or me paying or obtaining a service from someone else. But it's bad customer service, and bad customer service to me is not being responsive. And that's my pet peeve, and that's just something that I work extra hard. So when I do get those emails like, hey, this is my second email, I'm like, oh my God.
I gotta get on it.
Yeah, I don't know how I missed this, but that's my pet peeve. So
that's a big one for me too.
What is yours?
Yeah, it's always like customer service, right? But if I had to say another one, I think it would be under delivering. So when people say, oh yeah, this comes with it and I can throw this in and we'll do all of these things to gain your business.
Yes.
And then you're like, but you half-assed everything and didn't do the other 3 things that you told me you were gonna do.
Extra.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and then later on, what happens often is that people will reevaluate the quote that they gave you or the additions that they gave you because they've taken on too much, like you said earlier, and now they're like, well, it's gonna be an additional this amount of money. Or they become resentful of you because they promised you too many things and it's taken away from them.
They should have charged more for.
Exactly.
Initially. Or
exactly.
I get the different prices for the same thing every time.
What do you mean?
Like if my nails are $50, the sign says $50, I want the $50 nails. So
right.
you tell me fine, and if I have on something extra that day, I don't want to pay $75 because I have on something extra.
Right.
I don't like this costs $50 today, it's $60 tomorrow, then $75, then back to $50. Just give me the $50 one.
So that's the consistency. I agree. That's one of mine too. And that even comes with like products or food services. When you go in a restaurant and it's like, I want the oxtails and it's no oxtails today. Or I want the curry chicken and you're like, we out of curry chicken.
Yeah.
How are you out of what's on the menu every day?
Something that you're supposed to sell.
Right.
But that's funny too.
Why?
Because I used to own a restaurant. And I'm gonna.
Y'all was over there running out of stuff?
I'm gonna blame it on being in my 20s, not preparing, not writing down my list, not doing. But I had a soul food restaurant, and one day they didn't have no chicken, no fried chicken.
Black people love chicken. You could run out of everything else.
Let me tell you, when I told you, and it wasn't even like the young people, the older people read me. I think I must have stocked up on chicken, but again, and it's not like I just cooked it all and ran out, because that's the bar when you run, it's the end of the day and you ran out of everything. But I didn't do my list. I honestly thought that I was gonna have a restaurant, cook food, everybody was gonna love it, which they did, and then I was just gonna be rich. Like, we gonna open up on Friday, and by Sunday, I'm selling out.
I'm shutting down because we done sold out.
I'm selling out and I'm rich. And that didn't happen because I didn't plan, I didn't have any structure. I bought food not even as needed. I just went out and bought food. But that also helped me with my other businesses.
Of course.
Obtaining and keeping and continuing to try and keep. But I've learned the hard way. I've learned a lot of lessons the hard way. And listen, I'm telling you, you don't always have to learn these lessons. Take some of our experiences.
Yes, listen to us because we've made a lot of mistakes. But that really gives you a certain level of insight, right? Saying, I fucked up before, but I learned over the years how to really organize my business, put some structure in it. And
save for a rainy day.
Exactly. And a sunny one, right? Save for a rainy day and for a sunny one.
Go run out and get some more chicken.
When you run out. And I think one of the things that always sticks out to me when we're talking about Black people and business is that so much of the time we are doing business, but we're not in business.
Right.
So people are like, here's my Cash App. I'm not paying you for a product or service through Cash App. No, I'm not selling you my money. Send me an invoice. Where's the webpage?
If it's makeup, I don't mind selling. But if I'm
You're right. For makeup artists, I'm okay.
An item, if I'm purchasing a dress or shoes or whatever the case is, I'm not selling you a Cash App or anything.
Right, like not at all. So we need to have our business structure set up in a legal way so that it is organized and it is business. And I think that comes from the fact that just Black people in general are so ingenious and so creative. And so we're doing things a lot and we don't recognize that we can monetize it. And then somebody else comes in.
For instance, the memes or Did you see the one right before Election Day where they had all of the Democrats was the Avengers? Like,
yes.
I'm like totally an Avengers fan. And they were all coming in to save Captain America,
yes.
Joe Biden. I was like, whoever thought about that
is a genius. It's a genius.
But I'm not sure who created it, but these are things that we create and we see them on Black Twitter, Black Instagram, and things like that. And it's, I don't know.
Then the big corporations swoop in
and take it
and
It'll
monetize it.
It'll be a Super Bowl
exactly,
commercial.
and monetize it. And that's one of the things that we really have to get diligent about is organizing and structuring our businesses from the very beginning. Articles of incorporation cost what, $35? You can incorporate your business online.
$20 to find your name.
Exactly. So altogether, it's under $100 process just to secure a website, incorporate yourself, and find your name. So what are some of the tips then that you have for people who are looking to start a business, who want to have a reputable brand? What are like the top 3 things that they should do if they are a Black business owner or prospective business owner and they don't want to carry the stigma of Black businesses?
I think for one, they should actually look at, honestly, personality. So does your current social media speak volumes to the business that you are trying to take on? You know, are you too out there on social media, but you're trying to have like a nice little bookstore? You get what I'm saying? So I do think that a lot of it is self-evaluation. But as far as like planning and putting it together, like Fila said, definitely form your LLC as for your corporation. Do the legal structure first, but as far as actual structure, I'm just big on it. Like I write everything down, and then I also find what the steps are. Like I write out what I feel the steps are. I ask other people what steps they have taken, and then I also read and research on other steps. And I incorporate all of that, and I honestly try and stick to whatever's written. As much as I can.
Yes, I think those are really good tips.
And what do you do?
So I do a lot of the same things, right? Clearly we both made some mistakes and learn from them. I started a business. Well, first of all, the other day I just realized that I've been an entrepreneur, or I've been out of the corporate rat race for 10 years. This year will be 10 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you, right? Like I left and I made it. I never had to go back. And that's a big deal. And I remember when I was first starting, I used to get so frustrated when I would hear like experts say, dedicate the next 10 years to building your business. And I'm like, I don't got 10 years. Like I need to get this money right now. Exactly. But it really does take 5 years, 10 years to grow your business and be established. And so I think if I had to give 3 tips, the first one would be to recognize that this is a marathon and not a sprint. There are gonna be steps, you get to evolve, you get to change because there's so much to learn. The second thing would be to follow the legal structures like you were saying. Incorporate your business, be in business and not just doing business. And then the third thing, which is a big one, is to ask for help. If there's somebody in your industry who's doing well, doing what you wanna do, reach out to them to ask for help, read books for help. But if you have people in your network, don't allow your ego to make you like be resistant to asking them, because that can save you a year or 2 or maybe even 5.
And the worst that can happen is that they'll say no.
So with that said, anything in closing?
In closing, we're here for you guys. We're rooting for you guys.
Absolutely.
And we just wish you all a successful business.
Yes.
And catch us next time on
Dream, Catch, Hustle with
Nadirah
and Fila. See you guys next time.